ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततन्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै। Verse 69. या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जाग्रति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः। So, Sanyami Jagarti, Sanyami, this, anyway, so we are in the final portion of the second chapter and which is dealing with the Sthita Prajna, so which means a person who has attained the knowledge, gained the knowledge, assimilated the knowledge. And I mean, they converted the knowledge into emotional strength, emotional maturity. And well, in this Sthita Prajna, this particular section, which is Sthita Prajna section, we said also that there are two topics are discussed here. One is how a person can convert his knowledge into emotional strength. What are the means for that? Three means also we have discussed. We have discussed three means. You know that Shamaha and Damaha and Nididhyasanam, three things are discussed. And so that is how the person can convert his knowledge. He is doing Shravana Mananam, etc. Well, then, but his knowledge is not well assimilated. It's there in the intellect, but not as though, internalized knowledge. And therefore, still he is not able to enjoy the fruits of the knowledge. And well, then these three means are there. Bhagavan talked about also. And next topic in this section is Sthita Prajna Lakshanam. So what are the very spontaneous expression of a wise person who is established in knowledge, who has assimilated the knowledge? Both the things we have discussed. And of these two topics, Sthita Prajna Lakshanam, was discussed from verse number 55 to 57. There Bhagavan gave, the characteristic of a wise person, description of a wise person. Then from verse 58 to 68, we saw the last verse yesterday. In these 11 verses, Bhagavan gave the means, how a person can assimilate the knowledge. He has a knowledge because of Shravanam and Mananam, continuous Shravanam and Mananam, but he is not assimilated. He wants to be Sthita Prajna. He is already Prajna. He is a wise person. He is having a knowledge. Definitely, he is a Jnani. But his knowledge is not giving him a benefit which is described in the Shastra. And therefore, how can you convert that knowledge into a assimilation? And then definitely those sadhanams, as I told you, Shamaha, regulation of mind, regulation of senses, and Nididhyasana. So these three sadhanas are there, and that those sadhanas have been talked from verse 58 to 68, 11 verses. And now again from verse 69 to the end of the chapter, that is verse 72, these 4 verses again Bhagavan talks about Sthita Prajna Lakshanam. He describes a wise person. The person, his natural traits will be described. And let's start with verse 69 now. So Sanyami Jagarti means this person, this wise person, Jagarti, he is awake. Jagru, there is a root called Jagru. That's in second conjugation. And Jagru Nidrakshay, that is how Panini has given in a Dhatu Patha meaning. Nidrakshay. So he is awake. Nidrakshay means destruction of a Nidra, sleep. Means he is awake. And so Sanyami Jagarti, this wise person is awake, where Tasyam, to the Atma. Tasyam means here Atmani, we can tell, to the Atma. Ya Nisha, which is a night, Sarva Bhutanam. So where wise person is awake, there all other bhutas, Sarva Bhutanam Nisha. There all the other beings are sleeping. For all the beings, that is a night. Pashyataha Munehe, for the wise person, Sa, that which was a Nisha for them, Pashyataha Munehe, for the wise person, Sa, that world of duality, of course, is Nisha. Yasyam Bhutani Jagrati, where those people are awake, this wise person sleeps. Where wise person is awake, there those people are sleeping. That's what Bhagavan wants to convey. Now, so sage is awake to the Atma. Well, naturally here, this kind of a thing. Everyone is a human being. So generally everyone is awake during the day. And sleep during the night. But here Bhagavan wants to, through this example, he wants to convey something. So sage is awake to the Atma, which is night for all the beings, and for the wise person, that world of duality, etc., is night to which all beings are awake. So very important verses which are often quoted, this verse also, 69 and 70 also, verse 70, in which example is given for the wise person. Well, then both are often quoted verses, 69 and 70. And in this verse, 2 verses, Bhagavan is talking about the glory of this wise person who is establishing self-knowledge. His traits, natural traits now, Bhagavan is talking. And to talk about the glory of such a person, Bhagavan is comparing this Jnani to an ordinary, Ajnani in this verse. So a clean contrast between Jnani and Ajnani are shown here, and Ajnani basically is Samsari and Jnani is a Mukta Purusha. The contrast is given here. So the idea is Krishna wants to convey is this, what? That is, both a Jnani and Ajnani face the same world. And it is not that they are going to face a special world. Especially Jnani does not face a special world, he faces the same world. He, transact with the same world. And which is going to be all fine, it's not so. So the world is going to be the same. World cannot be changed. So people are also going to be the same. Vedanta, because basically he is established through the knowledge of the Vedanta, and Vedanta does not attempt to change the world. Vedanta wants to convey what is the world, reality of the world. So definitely Vedanta has never shown any way how to manipulate the world, how to change the world. It is impractical because it cannot be done also. When Vedanta does not attempt to change the people also around. Vedanta says that, well, all these beings are what? The reality of all the beings will be shown, but the Vedanta does not show a process by which you can change all the people around. No manipulation. And Vedanta's attempt is only to change the way that I look at the world. So, the way I look at the people, look at the world, the way I respond to the situations, etc. So, since Vedanta, Vedantin basically never accomplished any worldly changes, the world is going to be the same. And what kind of a world? Definitely, our definition is the world is corrupt and with a lot of problems, and there are cheating people, and there are lying people, and misbehaving people, and insulting people, and bitter people, and what not. So, all kind of things are, that is what we think the world is. So, he also faces the same world. He also transacts with the same world, and Ajnani also transacts with the same world. So all the people would be the same for a Jnani also. All these kind of people, insulting people and those people and lying people, etc., etc., cheating people, all these people he also is facing, and Jnani also is facing. And not only that, another factor. Person may feel, of course, but that Jnani, when gains knowledge and then his prarabdha kshaya happens and he definitely goes away, then he has not to face the world. But that's not the case. So Jnani also has got a prarabdha. We have seen in Tattvabodha. So Jnani's prarabdha will not be destroyed. Well, we have seen that Sanchita will be destroyed, and he will not have agami karma, etc., fresh agami karma. But he has to face the prarabdha. His prarabdha is there, which means ups and downs in the life also will be there, which are going to continue even for a Jnani. Then, so next question is, well, if everything is same for both, Ajnani also has a prarabdha, Jnani has a prarabdha. Ajnani faces the same world, which Jnani also faces the same world. Then what is the difference between the two? That's what here has been. That contrast has been shown here. But contrast means what? Contrasting response basically. So what is the difference in the response? And Bhagavan is going to point out in this shloka that the response is going to be diagonally opposite. Yes. So because of the change of the perspective. Vedanta has brought a change of perspective of the people around, of the world around, etc., and of himself also. And therefore, definitely, so only change in perspective has happened. World and the people are same. So, and Bhagavan is giving an example, and before we go to that example, we will take another two examples in order to understand the same principle. Then we will go to the example given in this verse number 69. So, imagine two people are seated on the beach, and both of them are looking at the ocean, and both of them are seeing the waves, and which is rising and setting, etc., getting destroyed. So what both of them are seeing, about what both of them see is the same thing. That's the waves only. But imagine one person knows that the truth of the wave is water, and there is no such thing as wave at all. And so one person has got a wave wisdom, let's say, wave wisdom. And that wisdom, the truth of the wave. And that wisdom is, wave is nothing but name and form, and the truth is water. That's what he knows. We can call him a wise person, so far as this wave is concerned. And so that person sees the indestructible water, that is the truth of the wave, and that is immortal. The water is immortal, and so far as that is concerned, so far as the wave, etc., is concerned. And so he does not focus upon these perishable or changing waves. So this person is absorbed in immortal truth, which is non-dual, right? Only thing is water only, and therefore he is absorbed in that non-dual Advaita, which is Nitya Jalam, which is imperishable. That is Jalam, that is water. And so one person is absorbed in that truth because water is only one. Waves are many, water is one. And imagine another person who does not know the truth, and the truth of the wave, etc., and therefore absorbed in the superficial names and forms only, and therefore he takes waves as it the reality. And when I am absorbed in the waves, I am going to see the perishable waves. Not only that, when the new wave is born, I am very much happy, and I even celebrate the birthday of that wave if I like that, of course. And every day I cut the cakes, because so many waves are born. Even a single day you will have to celebrate all the time, 24/7. And next day again you will see this new waves are, are taking birth. And therefore all the time, so he enjoys all the birthdays of several waves, and cutting the cakes and distributing the gifts and all, not because I am absorbed in this mortal wave. Please understand. Now please, you can compare yourself. The one person who is absorbed in immortal water, this person is absorbed in mortal waves. That person is absorbed in non-dual reality. This person is absorbed in duality. That's all. There is a difference between the two. So, and therefore, if you look upon this, and if you celebrate this birthday of the wave, etc., then definitely, and then you will have to make relatives and friends also for that wave, because generally when the invitation is there, it is always they written with that base compliments. So base compliments from friends and relatives and everything. So each wave you can make that this wave is a friend of this wave, and this is a relative of that, etc., etc. And so whole names and forms, different waves, you have made the whole world samsara, duality. And one is you are celebrating of a birthday of that wave, and others are relatives and friends of that wave, etc., etc. So this other person who is sitting on the beach, he is absorbed in this mortality, plurality, duality, you can say. So both are looking at the same thing, the ocean. One sees Dvaita, one sees a Dvaitam, and other sees a Advaitam. One sees just water, and other sees merely names and forms called waves. And so because of this change of the perspective, the difference occurs in the response towards that ocean. So when the ignorant person, of course, is attached to this pluralistic or perishable waves, the tragedy is every wave is born naturally, and therefore when a wave is born, he touches the ceiling as though, jumps. And when the wave perishes, he is going to be shocked by that event. So he is very gloomy. So in his life he has a harsha and shoka, and my wave is gone. My wave is gone, because what happens is, in his presence itself a wave is born and gets perished. That's a problem. And so this is my tata wave, and this is my mom wave, and this is my brother wave, and that wave, and my wife wave, and child wave, and all these waves. And therefore several waves are there, and some of the waves take a birth in your presence and go away also in your presence. That creates a shock. Swamiji, I did not expect. 2 days ago only I met him in that Bhagavatam, that pravachanam, and we met, and then after that pravachanam was over, we sat for 1 hour together. We talked, and he looked fine. But what happened? Right now I'm talking you from the funeral place of that, and then I have come for his funeral. And so people are shocked, and that person's birth he may not have seen, but some of the people you and me might have experienced, where the birth also has taken place in your presence, and the death of the person also takes place in your presence, and those incidents people cannot forget. So this is how, let's say, there's a situation. So because for wave you may feel what is a big deal, but this is the situation in our life anyway. And therefore, waves are born in your presence and gone in your presence, and therefore there is crying all around. So whereas in the neighborhood, the other person who is sitting beside, who sees the birth and death belongs to only superficial name and form, the content, the essence, the truth, well, he does not have any mortality because he doesn't have a birth, and therefore he doesn't have a death, and therefore there is no mortality at all. So he is absorbed in the immortality called water, and therefore there is no elation. There is neither elation nor in the birth of a wave, nor is a depression in the death of a wave. So harsha shokau jahati, if you remember, well, in the verse, in the second chapter itself, Bhagavan says that, we have seen in the previous verses, harsha shokau jahati, this wise person gives up that harsha and shoka, this elation and depression, etc. You cannot give it up. So we have to interpret properly. One cannot give it up, the harsha, like that. If you see something which causes, if you see something which is the truth of the thing, well, then only you can give it up, the harsha and shoka, which actually, the janma and etc. will bring a joy or elation, and the death brings a depression or this kind of a pain in the life, suffering in the life. Well, when you see that all these things takes place at the level of name and form, but really nothing is born and nothing is gone. That vision, if you have, that is one reality alone appears in these names and forms, and which does not die, which is all pervading, which cannot die, which is ever present, which never comes and goes, etc., etc. Name and form comes and goes. That too, form comes and goes. Name, of course, we give, and we have to give the name, because otherwise of all the forms, how will you transact? Because there are 1,000 forms in a day you transact with. So you should have a name, and therefore for a clarity, for a transaction. And so human beings decide to give a name. That's a good thing. It's a good vyavastha. But anyway, what I want to convey is basically this wise person, harsha shoka ujjahati, he does not give it up. He is automatically free from this both elation and depression, because of he sees something in the name and form which does not take place, which does not take a birth, which does not die. And that is how this example we are seeing for this. So one is absorbed in Advaitam, immortality, that is water. Another is absorbed in Dvaitam, which is mortal. Dvaitam is mortal. We have to. These are all small sutras, aphorisms. Dvaitam means mortal. Dvaitam means names and forms. Names and forms mean they will take birth and they will go also, and therefore definitely mortal. And the content of the name and form, well, does not go, does not come back. And therefore does not take birth, does not go, does not die. And therefore the essence, when you have that, and the essence is one. Names and forms are many. Therefore, so the one is absorbed in Dvaitam, one is absorbed in Advaitam, and so towards the same thing, towards the ocean, then definitely, well, where you are absorbed, accordingly you will have a response towards the ocean. One is free from harsha and shoka, one is all the time endowed with harsha and shoka. Now we can take another example, and that is of a movie and the characters of a movie. Initially, when you go to the theatre, well, definitely you see only the truth of that, of the white screen, pure screen. When you go, definitely when you enter into the theatre, well, that time there is a screen only, and there is only screen. And once the movie begins, of course, and then character comes, the hero comes, and then heroine comes, and of course there is a villain. This is all setup of a Hindi movie. And there is climax and all those things, and gradually, initially as if you are a wise person, initially. And therefore you see that these are all only, characters only, they are taking, they are playing their roles, etc. But once the movie advances, it goes ahead, then you are absorbed in the, the movie, then you start absorbing the pluralistic, superficial shadows of the character. And then of course, basically no character actually is there, it's just a shadow of a light only. But I am absorbed in this superficial character that I lose sight of what? You can understand, I lose the sight of the truth behind the character, and which is nothing but the white screen. Any character appears that it is nothing but a white screen alone. Swamiji, where this example? Actually, this example in one or in almost same form is there in Panchadashi, in the 6th chapter, Chitradipa Prakranam. There Vidyaranya gives a beautiful description of this this kind of example, very elaborated description. So people who are interested, they can refer to Panchadashi. So, and so much I am absorbed in the superficial character that I lose the sight of the truth, that is the screen, and and that is Advaitam, that is one screen alone, nothing else is there, non-dual. And the moment I lose the sight of the screen, the characters which are nothing but the shades only of the light, well, they appear real for me, and therefore pluralistic world appear for me. Even though it's a one screen, but I lose the sight of it, and when the shadows become reality, then therefore shadows is nothing but these all characters become reality, and then you see the villain is trying to cheat the hero and shoot from the behind, and and if you are so absorbed that you get up and shouting and shouting to the hero that you look behind, there is an attacker, there is a villain there, well, and he will kill you. So you get up also and shout, and people around you may consider you a mad person, or they may be also doing the same thing, I don't know. So all are much absorbed in that. So, well, we don't know that there is no hero, no villain, no shooting, nothing but a white screen. Shooting is a white screen, villain is a white screen, then heroine also is a white screen, and then hero is also a white screen. Well, everything is just a white screen. It's a non-dual vision. It's a one thing alone, that is white screen, which is not, that's the truth of all the characters. Well, but definitely it happens so. This is called Maya. One appears many. It's because of Maya. It's like that. Everything is one. But Maya has, this is how we say, we all is a manifestation of Maya. Anyway, let's not go into that. But basically, why it happens, Swamiji? Even though I'm a wise person, initially itself the theatre people, that the owner of the theatre has told you that it is just a white screen. So when I enter into the theatre, I see the white screen, and therefore whatever is going to come is just nothing but a shades of light only, and therefore whatever the characters are, they are all mithya. That's nothing but a white screen only. There is nothing else. That's the truth of every character, nothing else. But even though the knowledge has been given, but as the movie proceeds, it goes ahead, you are absorbed in that particular character so much. You like that character, and you dislike some other character. See that how the likes and dislikes, totally catch your attention. Anyway, so it is capable of making us forget the truth of the screen and get lost in the superficial shadows, mithya shadows. So one who knows that everything is screen, he is not carried away by the movie. He appreciates the movie very well. There are people. That's how they I think they have that premiere show or something, in which they invite certain people to see the movie and evaluate also. And sometimes even the government people also, their film censor board or something. I think there is a jury which comes and before giving a certificate, no objection certificate for showing, telecasting, etc., whatever, and if they have to give a certificate, therefore the Central Film Censor Board or something. So they all come. Even certain they invite in a premiere show or certain other actors and actresses and all are seeing. That's the first show. They will show you to they show to these people, and they all they are very objective. They are very objective, and they will not be carried away by the movie. They appreciate the movie also, and they might even appreciate the acting of the particular hero or heroine, etc. And when they come out of the movie, they say also that this heroine did a good job. Heroine died very well. They say like that. This heroine died very well. That is, what is that mean? In reality, can you say like that to anybody? So heroine died very well, and the hero fought very well, and well, he got injured very well. He showed the expression, etc., very well. So she acted very well, he acted very well, etc. Sometimes they appreciate villain also. More than the actor and actress, the role of a villain is so superb. I mean, from their standpoint, well, because they have a certain eye of evaluating. That's why they were shown this kind of a film. But they are not carried away by the movie. What I want to say is, they're carried away by these scenes, different scenes. The screen is forgotten, the movie moves you. So that is how movie is moving us. That is how it is happening. That's why I think maybe calling movie, which moves us, is movie, like that. Maybe, I don't know. So what are the so definitely. So here, what are the two drishtis? There are people who are objective in the theater. There are people who are carried away by that movie. There are people who are not carried away by the movie. Both have a different vision because their response towards the movie is different. So Jnani has got Advaita Drishti. They know it is just a screen. This is all mithya. And therefore, definitely, this is this kind of a thing. They have this kind of a drishti, that kind of a vision. And the people who are moving, they are definitely moved by the movie. They have a Dvaita Drishti. They are so absorbed in the character. Sometimes, suppose they like particular character, that actor, etc. And then actor died or something in the story, it may happen, then movie, he died like that. So they feel so much agony. Even they come home and they remain sad for some time. We will have to console that. You can call that person, he is in the Bombay right now, he has not died, etc. People may, depending upon the person, may be carried away so much, get affected so much that, and therefore this person has a Dvaita Drishti. Even though one screen, but that person has killed this person and etc. And all pluralistic vision, mortality vision, etc. So this is how the things are, and there are innumerable examples for this. Basically, here in our case, the wise people have a single vision, non-dual vision, Advaita Drishti. What is that? Everything is me. And therefore nothing dies, nothing comes. Body comes and body. That's what we saw in the Kenopanishad. The fifth characteristic, fifth feature of this inert world is Agama Payitva, which comes. Agama means which comes, and Apaya means which goes. So birth and death, you can say. So starting from physical body, subtle body, everything. Don't say about causal body. Causal body does not die. Causal body is Maya, basically. It doesn't die that way. So if it doesn't die, then causal body is ignorance. Then it doesn't die means what? Then why should I come to you? Then because Ajnanam will. So it is Anadi definite. It's Anadi. It has not taken Adi. It has not taken a birth. It is there. Since because it's basically causal body is a part of the Maya only. And therefore Maya is there all the time. You can bring an end to that by the Jnanam, and then you can have basically is non-dual vision. When Maya goes, plurality goes. And therefore basically you will have a vision of a non-dual Brahman. That's the Adhishthanam of Maya, Adhishthanam of the creation. Anyway, so essence of the creation, you can say truth of the creation, that is non-dual. Just as the truth of the entire movie is truth of the entire pluralistic, mortal, that all characters is nothing but the white screen which is immortal. So far as that is concerned, it is immortal, and therefore it is ready for the next show. That screen is ready for the next show. Anyway, so you can think about like this. So there are several examples. You see the plurality, but then the truth of that thing is one thing alone. Like you see lots of ornaments, but gold is one. You see lots of types of furniture, but the wood is one. So behind all the types of wave, of course, water is one. So that non-duality, one who does not forget, he has got Advaita Drishti, non-dual vision. And so he does not see birth and death in reality. Apparently, birth and death, he is saying that form is taking birth and form is now dying, etc. and as such it is not, nothing is born and nothing dies. We have discussed so much in Bhagavad Gita in this session only, in earlier verses, but I am accepting right now that birth and death are there in form, of the form. So whereas the one who got this Dvaita Drashti, he is going to cry, because for he says this name and form is a reality, and therefore a birth is a reality, then death also is a reality, and therefore he has to cry. I mean, he has more to cry. So Ajnani has got a Dvaita Drashti, because the Jnani knows the essence, the truth, and therefore we should say Ajnani has got a Dvaita Drashti as Jnani has got a Advaita Drashti. And where? Not in a different places. Both of them live in the same world, and definitely both have got this kind of a vision. 1 minute. And so these two examples we have seen. Now Bhagavan is, of course, in this verse is giving another example. We'll discuss briefly this example also, and then we'll go to the shloka. In this verse, actually 4 comparisons are there. First is, an ignorant person is going to be compared as an owl. You know, owl, which is a type of a bird which keeps awake during the night, and which is awake to the night life, etc. And so Ajnani is compared to the owl by Krishna, and Jnani is compared to the human being. So this two comparisons. First, let us see. So Jnani is like a human being, and Ajnani is like a owl. These two comparisons. Now another 2 comparisons. Daytime, Krishna is going to compare as a Advaita Drashti. And so daytime is compared to Advaita Drashti, and the night time is compared to the Dvaita Drashti. So Jnani is equal to human being, Ajnani is equal to owl, day is equal to Advaita Drashti, and night is equal to Dvaita Drashti. So 4 comparisons are there. And now let's see. Let's make a first statement. From the verse itself, we make first statement. Actual verse will go later. But let's make first, there are 2 statements, because in a verse there are 2 lines. So we can make 2 statements. So, first statement is what? A human being is awake or aware of to the day, and he is asleep to the night. And the second statement is, an owl is asleep to the day and is awake or aware of the night. So these 2 statements are there. Let's go to the first statement. Human being is awake to the day. Means human being is comparable. We have compared already Jnani as a human being. So human being is comparable to the Jnani, and we have compared day to what? Advaita Drashti. So human being is awake to the day. That statement I can now, because of the comparison, I can put in another words that a Jnani is awake to the Advaita Drashti. Because Jnani is a human being. Day is a Advaita Drashti. And therefore, Jnani is awake to the Advaita Drashti. And he is asleep to the night. Night means what? I have already told you. Night means Advaita Drashti. So he is asleep. He is not aware of. He is not aware of. Or he ignores whatever. Let's say. He ignores. For him it is superficial. Either way you can say. Okay, so he is asleep to the Dvaita Drashti. So Jnani is awake to the Advaita Drashti and asleep to the Dvaita Drashti. This is statement number 1, interpretation. Now, what is the significance here of this statement? Well, he is absorbed in Advaita Drashti, and Dvaitam is superficial to that for him. So not aware of Dvaita Drashti we should not say, but it is superficial for him. So like that beach man, the person who was sitting on the beach, he is absorbed in that non-dual water, means the waves are coming and going, but does not, the waves are superficial for him, we should say. We should not say, well, he does not see wave at all. That's not fair. He sees the wave, but basically his commitment is to the truth of the wave. And when he definitely he gets absorbed into the truth of the wave, well, he is seeing non-duality, he is seeing only water, and therefore waves are as though become superficial for him. So we can say he is as though asleep to the waves and he is awake to the water. Who? The person who is sitting. There are two people, of course, but one of them is like this Jnani person. So the first statement is like this, that human being is awake to the day and asleep to the night is equal to Jnani is awake to the Advaita Drishti and asleep to the Dvaita Drishti. Okay, this is one statement. Now comes to the next statement. You can understand very well. First we talked about Jnani. Now then definitely Bhagavan is comparing Jnani with Ajnani in this verse. Therefore now next statement will be regarding Ajnani. So an owl is asleep to the day, and meaning that he is not aware of the day. An owl is asleep to the day and awake to the night. Now how will you compare? We know owl means an ignorant person. An ignorant person is asleep to the day. Day means what? Advaitam. And therefore an ignorant person is asleep to the Advaitam, means an ignorant person is not knowing, not aware of, not awake to this Advaita Drishti. So an ignorant person is asleep to the Advaitam, and where he is awake to the, he is awake in the night, so he is awake to the Dvaita Drishti. So we have, you remember, we have already said that day means a Advaita Drishti and night means a Dvaita Drishti. So in that way, we can say that way. So he is awake to the Dvaitam, ignorant person is awake to the Dvaitam, and he is asleep, he is not aware of the Advaita Drishti. So this is the essence of the shloka. Jnani is awake to the Advaitam, asleep to the Dvaitam. Ajnani is awake to the Dvaitam and asleep to the Advaitam. So, and you know, there is another example also, but I think Puja Swamiji has given at one place, that there was a person, and there was a wooden elephant, of course, and it was made so, so real, and so it, from a distance, well, it looks like an elephant, and therefore, when Guru and Shishya they were passing through a forest where a carpenter has, the wood, he instead of transporting the entire wood to the city, he made the elephant there itself in the forest after cutting the tree, etc. And so it was exactly looking like an elephant, even though actual elephant is, basically, is nothing but a name and form, and the content is wood alone. But an ignorant person, the Shishya, was not aware of the wood, and therefore when he missed the wood, what he was seeing an elephant. And where? In the forest. Therefore it's a wild elephant, it's not domestic or something, it's a very wild elephant. And people who have stayed in Coimbatore ashram, they might have either heard of the stories of this wild elephant, or they might have seen sometime, in our ashram, in Coimbatore ashram, this wild elephant comes for water on some purpose, for taking fruits, etc., mangoes or some coconut or whatever. So they come and they are really wild. You cannot go near to them. Anyway, so the Shishya also has seen the elephant, not wood, because for him the name and form was real, because it was made like that, it was looking real. And therefore Shishya literally got frightened and he was about to run away from that. Then our Guru, he told, Shishya, you do not run away, beta. I will take you near the elephant, and see, because I have mantra jala, so he will remain in my control, and don't worry. And so thereby he went near and touched the trunk of that elephant, and he called. So Shishya came with lot of hesitation. He came near and just put a finger on the on the body of the, and then he realized this is something different, and therefore then he put the entire hand on it like that, and then he realized, of course, that he appreciated the wood, which is the content of that. And what is that wood? Harmless wood. He appreciated, and at once the frightening elephant has disappeared. So when why this example? Because when your vision is towards that name and form, then the same name and form, which is actually mithya, it's false, it is not. But basically, it's a wood only. But basically, since your drashti is on the name and form that is real, then the same wood, which is actually harmless, which cannot make you fearful, the same wood, when you look upon as a name and form, though you get a fear. And when you know the content of it, you know the essence of that elephant or name and form, well, when you see that, well, then you find that it is nothing but a harmless wood alone, and then fear goes. So this is how it is happening. So this for Jnani also, well, for us like ignorant people, the world is now frightening, or let's say for the ignorant person which has been described, the world is now a very frightening thing for an ignorant person, and he feels that the whole world is there only to affect him. Every ignorant person feels that he is a small, insignificant person, and the world is too large. And and it is all the time there to give me one or other trouble. So world is a frightening thing for an ignorant person. I mean, all the names and forms. Any time you just count, and any object of your fear, if you make a list, it will be some name and form, nothing else. Any given name and form will be a source of fear for other person. And definitely for a wise person, the very same names and forms is like that harmless wood, because his drashti is towards the content of that name and form, like that elephant, and that which is free from all the names and forms, and the content is basically of all the names and forms is nothing but that Brahman, which is devoid of all the names and forms, and including his own definitely his own vision about himself is free from name and form. Definitely, if you identify with a given name and form, definitely you will look upon others also as names and forms only. When you know that you are just nothing, name and form means you are not the physical body, you are not the subtle body, etc. Then definitely you will find that you are basically a content, essence of the given name and form. And then you see all other names and forms also from the standpoint of its content. And therefore, basically, when he has that vision of a non-dual vision, that one thing alone is the reality of all the names and forms, then definitely that person will definitely abides in fearlessness. That is how even in Upanishad it has been told very beautifully that when person abhayam pratishtham vindate, the person gets established in fearlessness because of this knowledge of a non-dual thing. Well, cannot be the source of this non-dual thing, cannot be the source of fear. Fear will be always there when there is Dvaitam. To have a Dvaitam, this name and form will be real. I am a given name and form, and therefore other name and form can be the source of fear. Some names and forms are not right now a source of fear. Please understand. Puja Swami used to tell, how can a potato and tomatoes become a source of fear? Potentially, anything can become a source of fear. Potentially. And therefore, don't think that Swamiji, another name and form is a source of fear. You cannot tell. Yes, I cannot tell. But any given name and form which you right now not considering as a source of fear has a potential to become a source of fear. Yeah. So right now I feel this particular person, he loves me so much and all that, and you always feel fearless in his presence or her presence or whatever. And the same person, don't think a female or male. Female can be also equally a source of fear, or a male also can be a source of fear. Or even an animal also, which you find that, this animal, which I love so much, and therefore I always feel comfortable and in its presence, etc. Same animal can be a source of fear. So Puja Swamiji used to add one word, potential source of fear. Potential. Anything in the world, even an ant can be a source of fear. A virus can be a source of fear. A bacteria can be a source of fear. Anything could be a source of fear, which we generally feel that they are insignificant. What fear they can create in me? Don't think so. Don't think so. And not that they really are a source of fear. I feel that I am a given name and form and he is another name and form. That's all. That vision, the duality vision, well, definitely is Dvaitathi Bhayam Bhavati. You must be knowing all this. Dvaitathi Bhayam Bhavati. Dvaitat. So Dvaitam is not there in reality. Dvaitam is there in your vision. And therefore once your vision changes, when you get the knowledge of this Advaita Brahman, well, therefore then definitely you see everything is one alone. And that is the reality, in fact, that the reality is one. And all other things, names and forms are just a superficial, then definitely the bhayam goes away. Now let's look at this shloka. Sarvabhutanam ya nisha. Sarvabhutam. Sarvabhutam means all ignorant human beings. For the all Sarvabhutanam, for all the ignorant human beings, ya nisha. Ya nisha. Nisha means what? Well, he is not aware of, right? So, for all the ignorant human beings, what is that they are not aware of? What is that they are not aware of? Advaita Drashti, right? Advaita Drashti they are not aware of. So, they are not awake to that Advaita Drashti. So, Ya indicates Advaita Drashti. So, for the ignorant human beings, this Advaitic truth is like night, Ya Nisha. So, this Advaitic truth or Advaita vision is like a night, means they are asleep too. Nisha means they are asleep too, they are not aware of. Nisha means as such a night, means they are not asleep. They are asleep too, they are not aware of. So for all the ignorant people, this Advaitam is like a night, means Advaitam is like a daytime to them. I mean, they are not aware of, they are asleep to that. And Nisha means asleep too. So Nisha means, we should translate the Nisha properly. They are asleep to this Advaitic truth. Advaitic truth is like a day. Tasyam Sanyami Jagarti. Tasyam. Well, Sanyami. Sanyami means this Jnani, this wise person, is Jagarti, is awake to what? Tasyam. To that vision, to that Advaita vision. Well, where they are sleeping, so this all the other ignorant beings, where they, to this Advaitic vision, they are not aware of. To that Advaitic vision, he is awake to. That's what he wants to convey. So, basically, somebody goes and comes back. So, as Tasyam means this Advait, to that Advaitic vision. Jagrati. Jagrati is a plural. So Jagrati means he is awake to. So the wise man is awake to. Sanyami means the wise man is awake to what? To Tasyam means where they were asleep, where they are not aware of this ignorant person, there he is awake. Tasyam means he is awake to this Advaita Drishti. And to that Advaita people, these all ignorant people, the owl-like, so all ignorant people are like owl, they say. Anyway, we have to just, it is in a group. Anyway, so the ignorant people are like owl and they are asleep to this Advaitic day, Advaitic vision, which is like a day. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani. See, the Jagarti is a Jagrudhatu, I told you. And third person and singular is Jagarti. And third person plural is Jagrati. Please understand this. Jagarti is singular, third person. And plural is Jagrati. So Bhutani Jagrati. Yasyam Bhutani Jagrati. All the ignorant people. Bhutani definitely it's a plural. Bhutam Bhute Bhutani. Phalam Phale Phalani. So same way, all the ignorant people are awake to this Yasyam, to this Dvaitam. All the ignorant people are awake to this Dvaita Drashti, awake to the plurality, awake to the mortality, well, awake to the superficial, actually names and forms. And there, what this Jnani is doing? Sa Pashyato Munehe Nisha. Well, to that plurality, to that Dvaita Drashti, Jnani is Nisha for them. Jnani is a Nisha for this. Jnani is a Nisha. Jnani is not aware of. Jnani is as though asleep to this Dvaita Drishti. In short, basically, The essence is Jnani is absorbed in Advaita Drashti, Ajnani is absorbed in Dvaita Drashti. Jnani sees immortality everywhere, Jnani sees the essence everywhere, Jnani sees the Atma everywhere, Jnani sees Brahman everywhere, Jnani sees Ishvara everywhere, whatever you want to say. Ishvara you say, Brahman you say Atma, all, or he sees himself, you can say that way also. So he sees immortality, Atma is immortal. So he sees immortality everywhere, therefore he has not to cry. He has not to jump like a football, and he has no harsha, no elation, no shoka. Ajnani sees mortality everywhere, and therefore he is all the time subject to elation and depression. Elation and depression. Every day we'll have to have a bulletin for this person. How is his mood today? We have to see. Are you in mood? Good mood? Yeah, we have to ask. Of course, this kind of a thing is available only to the human being. This mood business. Mood business is there only for this human being. Elation and depression. Elation and depression. But Swamiji, is not that all the time people die and therefore. No, but there is a potential that he is going or she is going. That's enough. That is how Arjuna had a grief. Bhishma and Drona were there. They have not died. But by just thinking that they will die, just the process of thinking, imagining their death is enough to bring the sorrow. That's enough. And that is how the whole thing is. And therefore, even in the death, etc., we can extend this, we can extrapolate. Yeah. So the youth has gone and now I am entering into a auntie or uncle state. And therefore, then again, definitely, when somebody says that, Swamiji, you are growing old fast. Enough. That's enough. So, as if my good golden days are gone. So, of a youth, etc. So, that also you can consider. So many ways you can think this way. So, basically, name and form. If one's vision is just towards a name and form, nothing beyond that, there is no truth beyond name and form, then definitely the person does not require any other thing to be sorrowful. He will have, in fact, honestly speaking, he will have a sorrow most of the time. And that sorrow indicates every other thing. Yeah, the sorrow, the shokaha does not mean, say, in the face, a long face, etc. No. Shokaha indicates everything. Shokaha indicates bhayam also, fear also, and competition also, and then greed also, and anger also, and everything. Dvaita brings bhayam, means Dvaita brings krodha, Dvaita brings irsha, jealousy, Dvaita brings lobha, the greed. Everything you should count. All the 6 ripus. We feel sorrow. Sorrow means people therefore try to keep laughing in order to show that, they are free from the sorrow. Well, Puja Swamiji, of course. Anyway, I don't want to talk, but Puja Swamiji can talk about it. Anyway, but what I want to say is, sorrow means need not be that my face is all the time laughing, etc. Sorrow is in my heart all the time. The sense of limitation, sense of discomfort all the time. All is not well with me. All is not well with me. Even though everything is there. He eats what he wants to eat, and he moves around where he wants to move around. He has all the things what he wanted in life, and still that fellow is all the time, having complain, and all the time feeling uncomfortable. Not because of atmosphere, etc. All the time feeling uncomfortable. Well, that's how that fellow is called having a sorrow. Any identification with name and form will result into this. That's the final thing. Identification with name and form. If you equate yourself with any given name and form, this is the result. There is no other result. So basically, when I see, of course, immortality, there is no question of birth and death, and there is no question of sorrow, crying. Whereas for the Ajnani, there is birth of somebody and death of somebody, and therefore constant crying. This is example number 1. Day-night example of human being and owl example. Either day-night example or human being and owl example. We have seen the 4 comparisons, and Bhagavan gives another example. We'll just read that verse and then we'll stop. आपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत्कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. So, sarve kamaha, all sense objects, pravishanti yam, all the sense objects enter him, tadvat, yadvat, tadvat, yadvat. So, just as apaha, so example, tadvat and yadvat. So, tadvat indicates our wise person, yadvat is an example for that wise person. Yadvat apaha pravishanti, just as the waters enter, apaha means actually it's a plural word. It is all the time, by default it is used in plural only. It doesn't have a singular form at all. So apaha is a plural form and it's a strilinga word, actually feminine word, feminine gender, and meaning is waters. So yadvat apaha pravishanti, just as waters enter, where apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram, apuryamanam, the full, and achala pratishtham, achala pratishtham samudram, this calm ocean. Achalam means there is no chalanam, so calm. Achala pratishtham samudram, just as the waters enter the full and calm ocean, the same way, tadvat, saha apnoti shantim, this wise person attains the peace, nakamakami, not the seeker of sense objects. So just as waters enter into the ocean, which is being filled with from all directions, and yet it is unaffected, in the same way all sense objects enter the wise man, and still such a person, he is not affected, such a person enjoys a peace, not one who desires various sense objects. We'll see that meaning, etc. But here we can see the example of a owl and human being, or the example of a day and night. Here the example of a ocean. All these 69 verses 69 and 70 are basically giving an example for the wise person, and how the wise person, what are the characteristics of a wise person, how he responds to the world, etc. That has been described here. We'll see that tomorrow. Verse number 70, etc. We'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.